Hey guys, my name is Peter Park. I'm the Adaptive Sports and Paralympic Sports Coordinator for the Center for Individuals with Physical Challenges. So today I'm going to be talking about adaptive cycling that we have at the center. I'm going to be explaining about some of the bikes that we have and how they operate and function. And I'm going to also talk about some of the safety things that you need to know before you go out and bike. And then also some of the etiquettes that you need to know when you're riding on the bike trail. First, I'm going to show you some of the bikes that we have. As you can see, we have different types of bikes. As you can see, the different bikes that we have, they are all unique in their own individual ways. And they all have different functions for different disabilities. So the first bike I want to show you is called the hand cycle. It's sitting very low on the ground, and it is propelled by using your hands. That's why it's called the hand cycle. As you can see, here's the pedal. I explained to you in my previous post about the hand cycle, and it is very similar to an upright bike, but just sitting very low on the ground. So there is a wheel in the front, and also there are two wheels in the back. And the thing that's sticking out in the back is called the draft bumper. So the rider behind you cannot get too close or hit your tire. And this is highly adjustable bike. So you could have adjustment here, which you could sit lower if you like, or you could put it up higher, as you see here, which is sitting kind of upright. And this is where you rest your legs. So you're sitting with your legs straight out and pedaling with your hands or your arms. It has multiple gears, so you could adjust them to go up or down or on the flat. And also you could create your own resistance. And just like a regular bike, it also has the front gear and a small mirror so you can see what's coming from the back. It's a pretty cool piece of machine that you could go out and ride just using your hands if you're unable to use your legs. And if you are able to use your legs and you want to participate, this is a really good upper body workout. So this is called the hand cycle, and sitting pretty low on the ground, so sometimes transfer might be a little bit hard for some individuals, but we have staff that could help you out. And we also have a bike like this, but a little bit higher, so that a member or an individual doesn't have to go down too low. It's kind of like sitting on an upright or just regular chair. And next bike we probably have the most of these. This is called the recumbent trike. 2 wheels in the front one wheel in the back, and you are sitting down and pedaling with your feet and your legs. And depending on your height, we could adjust the bike and we could extend depending on your leg length, or we could bring it back. So 2 brakes that are in the front. Also, these have e-brakes. So if you hold it and push this in, and it automatically locks the bike. And this is also adjustable. So you could adjust the angle depending on what makes you comfortable. And it also has multiple gears on the other side. So the gear system is right here. So you're twisting. So as you can see, there are numbers. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 7. So we have 7 gears here. And you could adjust them however you want them. So this is probably the most popular bike that we have that's being used. Next bike we have is a very long version of a recumbent trike. And this one is called the tandem recumbent trike. It is very similar to the regular recumbent trike, but this one has another seat in the back and another pedaling system in the back for an individual that is sitting in the back. And it's usually an individual sitting in the back has visual impairment. So a person in the front, who will be called the pilot, will be telling an individual in the back what is happening in the front and what is happening in the back and what is coming up ahead. So the pilot is telling all the information to an individual in the back. So if the hill is coming up, he will tell the person in the back, hill is coming up, so change your gears. So they're synchronized and they're working together. Or if there's somebody coming from the back, since there's a mirror right here that the individual could see and could tell the person in the back, hey, the rider is coming from the right, so that it doesn't get startled. So pretty much the same equipment as that, different brand, and just longer. So this is for individual that has somewhat of a visual impairment. And next one we have is probably the most familiar to most people. It's like a regular upright bike, but this one also has a seat in the back. So this is the tandem. So the difference between this tandem and this tandem is that the individual who doesn't have much balance or uncomfortable riding in an upright bike, they could choose to ride this. Or individual is comfortable riding an upright bike who will be piloted by somebody in the front. And the individual in the back will be riding, and the handlebar is right here. and the individual have a pedal that will pedal, which is connected to the person in the front. So basically they are sharing the loads work, but person in the front has to continuously give information to a person in the back. So they're working together. So these are the different bikes that we have at the center. And we do have multiple bikes. We have different types of hand cycles that we could have people use. And we also have different types of tandem bike. And we also have 2 of the tandem recumbent, and we have, I think, 3 of the stand-up tandem. So if any of you are interested, please let us know, and we could get you situated with the right bike that you need. Well, at this time, I want to talk a little bit about the safety and some of the things that you could do before you guys go out and ride. So the first thing you need, I recommend everybody wearing a helmet. I know sometimes the trail could be safe. You think it might be safe because it is very protected, but there are other elements that you need to watch out for. There are other cyclists, and also there are runners. Sometimes there are dogs, and there could be anything that might jump out or something that might happen in the trail that is very unexpected. So it's always good to have a helmet. And a lot of people tend to forget, but it's really, really hot these days if you go out and the sun is scorching. So it's always good to have a sunblock on. And sometimes it's always good to carry one with you just in case you need to reapply. One other thing I do before I go on a ride is I always tell somebody that I'm going on a ride, and also tell them where I'm going on a ride. Or if the person knows that, or is used to, like my wife is very used to me going on a ride, and she knows my route, so she's not really worried about it, but I always tell her before I do go on a ride that, hey, I'm going out, so that I am accounted for, just in case something does happen, you get a flat tire, or you're not able to make it back on your own, or sometimes you end up in a ditch on the trail, then you want somebody to know where you are just in case. And also, don't forget to bring your phone, because in that situation, you're gonna have to call somebody to come pick you up or help you out, or hopefully nothing emergency happens, but just in case it does, you will need your phone, which will be very helpful. Like for one instance, I went on a bike ride last year here on Sunday, and I think that was the same week as Tulsa Tough. And I just went with the crowd, and I had no idea where I was going, and I ended up going out towards the country and asked the rider next to me and asked like, hey, how long is this ride? And that person said, hey, this ride is about 56 miles. And I had no idea where I was, and I had no idea how to get back on my own, so I had to stay on the track or trail to finish the course. But because I had my phone with me, I called home and told everybody like, hey, don't worry, this is gonna take a lot longer because this situation happened. So didn't have to worry about sitting home, because the whole ride took me about almost 3.5 hours. So they would have definitely been worried about me if I didn't call or didn't have my phone with me. So it's always important to let somebody know before you go out on a ride. Other thing you might want to carry also is a pump, spare tube or tire, And also it's important to learn how to change them. And if you don't, you could always ask somebody for help, but it's always good to have separate or extra gear with you just in case that you need to change tire or fix your bike or do a little maintenance to get you back on the trail. And most of the cyclists are nice enough that they will stop and ask if they need help or if you need help. And if you do, just flag down a cyclist and pretty sure they will help you on the trail. And I always carry a little bit of snack while I'm going on the ride. It's always in my backpack. I carry a little bit of gel, or sometimes if I know I'm going on a long ride, I'll usually take PB&J or some kind of snack so that my energy level is still up and I have enough energy left to get back to my destination. And other thing I want to talk about is the cycling etiquette while you're on the trail or just anywhere in general. I see a lot of people just stop on the trail a lot of times when we're riding. That is a very dangerous thing to do. It's kind of like while you're driving on the road in your car and you don't feel right or you don't feel good, so you just stop right in the middle of the road all of a sudden. So think about that. That could be really dangerous for somebody in the back and also for yourself, because if you make a sudden stop without letting anybody know, there's somebody in the back. If there is somebody in the back, that person will probably hit your bike, which could end up in a crash for you and the individual, and that would not be a fun situation. So some of the etiquette that you need to know while you're riding is when you're passing somebody, you have to let that individual know. So if you're coming on to a rider and if the rider is in front of you, and you always want to check if there's anybody coming from the other side so that you're clear to go. You always want to check if any rider is coming from the back that might be coming a little bit faster than you. So you want to check both ends on the both sides, and you also want to tell the rider on your left or rider on your left or passing on your left. So you say it verbally to let that individual know that somebody is coming next to them, so that they don't get startled and they're ready, or they know that somebody is coming from behind them, so they could move aside or they will stay in their lane so that you could pass them. Also, if you're riding with a group or with the staff or with another member and out on the trail, and if you need to slow down or if you need to make a right turn or a left turn, you want to let the individual in the back know that you're making that decision. Because if you don't tell them and make a sudden right or left, and if they're too close to your bike, their wheel could get caught on your bike, which could hurt both riders by flipping the bike over or just run into something that you don't want to run into. So the signal, we usually deal with the hand signal. So if you're turning right while you're riding, either your hand cycle or your recumbent, whichever it might be, you always want to stick your hand to the right. So if you're making the right turn while riding, I'll stick my hand out to indicate to a person in front who might be coming, and also a person in the back that's following, that I am making a right turn. So it's very similar to your turning on your blinker when you're turning in your car. So it's pretty same concept. And left turn is you stick your left hand out and letting the rider know that you're about to make a left turn. And also, if you're stopping, you could just stick your hand up and you could make a fist, or you could just have your hand palm up to let the rider know that you're ready, you're getting ready to stop or slow down. Or if there is somebody in the front, or if there's an emergency in the front, or if there's an obstacle in the front, then you kind of let them know by putting your hand up. And you could also point at the object so that the individual in the back knows that there is an object or something coming up that they need to watch out for. Last thing I want to mention is riders staying in your lane. So if a lot of the times you're riding on a trail, you're going to be on the right side of the trail. And I prefer staying on the right side of the trail, but within the trail, I also like to stay on the right side of my side of the trail, just in case if there's somebody coming from the back that needs to pass, so they have enough space for them to pass without possibly running into somebody that's coming from the opposite direction. And if you hear somebody yell from the back, rider is on your left, then do not turn. So you remain in your position and just keep riding your course, and just let the guy let the rider in the back make that decision to pass when it's safe. So if somebody in the back says rider is in your back, or a rider passing on your back, or just somebody indicating that, hey, there's a rider behind me and I'm about to pass you, then don't panic, just ride like you're riding and make the individual in the back make that decision instead of you try to swerve away or try to get away from them. Because if that happens, sometimes you move towards the individual and you guys kind of crisscross and there could be a collision. So these are some of the safety measures that you want to follow when you're riding, and also some of the etiquette while you're on the trail or riding with another individual, or just riding on your own to stay safe, and make sure you communicate with other riders so that they stay safe and you're also staying safe. And it also makes riding a lot more enjoyable. If you're interested in trying out cycling, please let us know. Stay safe and ride safe, and don't forget to always have fun, and hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you. Bye-bye.